What is going on, Warriors of Tamaris? Welcome to another video. In today's episode, we are going to talk about one of the most horrible faction in Call of Dragons, aka the Springwardens.
What? What the fuck?
Don't know the power
Of gaming on the
dark side.
Hey guys, how's it going? It's your boy Darshigong here from Gaming on the Dark Side, GOTDS, and as always, we got this coming at you with another video for Call of Dragons. Today's video is a bit different. It's my first, I guess you could say, a reaction video, like in full, where I'm actually having a video play and I'll be reacting to it as we're going through. I watched this video from Hulksden. Great guy. I like his videos and all that. It's pretty cool, I guess. But I have a bit of a bone to pick with him because he decided to pick on my faction, the Springwardens, and his brief stint as a Springwarden. And I mean, he couldn't handle it. I can understand. Springwarden's not for everybody. It takes a different kind of strategy, a different kind of player to play Springwardens, and that's what we're going to cover. So with that being said, let's go ahead and jump into this video. We're going to have Hulksden video playing. I'll be jumping in and out, kind of giving my 2 cents, and yeah, let's see who agrees with me and who doesn't. And like at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter, right? Your playstyle will be your playstyle, how you want to play the games, how you want to play the game. But yeah, let's go ahead and watch this. So let's begin. You know his little thing. All right, guys. So Warriors of Tamaris, here is Hulksden.
What is going on, Warriors of Tamaris? Welcome to another video. In today's episode, we are going to talk about one of the most horrible faction in Call of Dragons, aka the Springwardens. I recently switched to this faction to test out the Elk Riders.
Elk Riders. Now, I'm not gonna lie. I was actually very curious when he first did this and interested because he had enough cavalry units to be able to do what I've always wondered. What happens if you run 5 legions of Elk Riders? Would it be viable? Can it be useful? What does it actually look like on the field? Because, hey, I have to give him and any critics of Springwardens credit. The Elk Riders themselves are in this really weird space, right? I mean, they don't have the range of archers, but they also don't have the punch and power of cavalry. There's something in between. And I guess you can say, hey, it's balanced out because of the speed, right? I can move around the field. I don't necessarily have to be up in the main melee combat. And I also get 100% counterattack damage against ranged units, unlike other melee units. They only get 50%. So I mean, you got your pluses and minus. And overall, when you're watching this video here, a lot of what he talks about, you got to take that into consideration. Springwardens. Springwardens are kind of a jack of all trades, masters of none, right? They're not focused on any real one thing per se for most players. They're kind of like in the middle. And so just keep that in mind. I know I'm talking a lot right now, so let's jump back into what Hulksden's got to say.
All I did was pretty much just stay in the background and watch my teammates do a lot of stuff in the open field. This faction turned me into a spectator, and I think I'm going to be switching back to the League of Order. But for today, I'm going to show you guys everything that is wrong with this faction. Hopefully the game developers can do something about some of the items in this faction, because I don't think you should be wasting your time here. You should either be in the Orc faction or in the League of Order. So without wasting any more time, guys, let's get to the roasting of this faction. Alright, Warriors of Tamaris, what have I done? I think I wasted my switching items to this faction for no reason. I have 1 left. Ever since I started playing out Call of Dragons, I never switched. This is the first time I am switching. Good enough, I have 1 more faction switch left. I got one from a previous event that showed up long time ago, so I don't have to spend my gems to get the job done.
Real quick, for anyone that's like, wondering about that faction change token, you get one when you first start the game. If you want to change your faction, right? It's kind of like a get out of jail free card you got in your account. You didn't like what you were and you changed. I used it because I started off as Wildeburg and then switched to Springwarden back in, I want to say season 1 or season 2 I did that. However, there was an event somewhere else in the game where we were able to get a second one, which was great. If you guys don't have them or you already used them, they cost 10,000 gems. So obviously they don't want you just changing factions whenever you want. So it can be costly. It can be very costly. He luckily had two. He was able to switch to Springwardens and subsequently switch back to Legal Order because he couldn't handle being a Springwarden. That's why.
Now I think this is the most horrible faction in the whole of Call of Dragons, and the devs should probably look into this faction and try to fix some of the stuff that is wrong with this faction. Because ever since I switched here, I kind of became a spectator. I don't even feel like fighting most of the time. So let us talk about everything that is wrong with this faction. So first of all, I switched here because I wanted to test out the Elk Riders and the Forest Eagles. And all I can say is these two unit types are not so usable in the current state of the open field. You're going to be a buffet for all of your enemies in almost every single situation.
Never tell me the odds.
So let's see what's the problem. We're gonna start off with, let's go with the Elk Riders, okay? So the Elk Riders are classified as ranged cavalry. If you look at their attributes, it doesn't compare to melee cavalry. Now, if you try to fight melee cavalry on the ground, they are going to tear you to pieces. This ranged cavalry also don't have a good range compared to the mages and the archers. Like I joined specifically to try and use these Elk Riders to kill infantry. But the thing is, enemies avoid all infantry and go for the Elk Riders, who is so close to the infantry. So you can't really use these guys efficiently in a mage ball.
Oh, geez. The Mage Ball. See, now this is the crux of my point about how I feel that gameplay and game style, or play style I should say, is very important. And I personally think the devs did a great job with the way they have the three factions set up, because they do each involve different versions of play style. And they highlight those, right? They give you a chance to do it the way you want to do it. That does make me very curious how they're going to do this fourth faction, what they're going to do with that. But that being said, the Mage Ball and Hulksden saying, hey, you're not very effective in the Mage Ball with these guys makes sense, especially for his version of gameplay and why he does not like this faction and why he feels like he's a spectator and it doesn't match his gameplay and he can't see how anyone would want to do this faction because of the Mage Ball. Now, for you guys that don't know what the Mage Ball is, it's, in my opinion, see, this is my opinion, right? I feel the Mage Ball is stupid. Here's an example of what the Mage Ball looks like.
Anything. Wait. Even if
Focus for
command...
clock, 5 o'clock, focus. 5 часов фокус. Without infantry, guys. Only DPS. Только ДПСниками. Без пехоты. Для пехоты отдельная команда. Stop focus them one by one. 5 o'clock, focus. They come in one by one. На 5 часов фокусим ДПСников, они по одному идут.
So you can see how they basically all just bunch up in one big freaking ball. And if you have a good leader, these guys are really good at it. That's why I wanted to find their video. They basically will just focus fire single legions down, right? So you'll go from having no one targeting you to all of a sudden 50, 60 players targeting you, and you're instantly melted, right? So that's what he's talking about, being part of a Mage Ball. You're part of like this big ass group, and what they'll do is they'll all gather up, they'll attack you, and if you happen to be in that Mage Ball and you see yourself get targeted, you just kind of scoot back a bit, right? Which would pull in whoever's targeting you they get decimated, and then they untarget you and you go right back in. And it just does that over and over again. And most of the time they play in that really zoomed out view. You're basically clicking on little pictures and icons, and that's the gameplay he's talking about. To me, that is freaking beyond boring. That to me is being a spectator. But like I said, that's my version of it. I have an opinion just like Hulksden has his opinion of it. Anyways, let's get back into this. Now you guys know what a Mage Ball looks like.
Now it can work, but you're gonna become a spectator. You won't really be helping your teammates. Like, what is the point of just, running around in the Mage Ball and waiting for some infantry to show up? And the infantry counter-attack is also dangerous. With this unit type, you're gonna get some buffs here as well. As you can see, if you launch 5 of these wild barrage arrows, you're gonna get up to 50% less damage taken. But this is not going to help so much against the counter-attack of the infantry as well. You're still going to feel the pain. And the problem is, when your enemies don't have any infantry in the front line, it turns into a mage kiting fight. So what are you going to do with your elk riders? You're just going to sit there and watch. If you try to branch out and like hunt for those ranged units that are walking one by one, well, guess what? There will be a ground melee cavalry waiting to eat you for breakfast. So these elk riders, not so good, guys.
So wait a second. It sounds to me basically like Hulksden is saying that, yeah, you can hide in the mage ball that you're so used to playing as a legal order player, that now you're trying these elk riders, you can't just do it, right? Because they're going to target you. Because it's true, the elk riders with their semi-close range, they're too close to really be able to run back quickly once you get targeted by mages. You can, but you're going to get pelted and you're going to lose a lot of health. And then he's saying, well, maybe you can branch out and try to circle around like how regular cavalry would do. But then you're going to run into regular cavalry units, and they're going to sit there and decimate you because they'll get in close and they hit harder than you can. And obviously they move just as fast as you do, so you can't run away from them. What that sounds like to me is just not being able to play the class. I'm not saying that elk riders are great. However, if this is your faction and you've been playing Springwarden for a long time, you learn to work within the constraints of what you have and you develop new strategies. I don't understand why Hulksden is trying to hold the Springwardens to the same standards you would hold Legal Order or Wildeburg, their cavalry units to. You can't. These are elk riders. They're a completely unique unit. And therefore, you have to learn to play in a different way. How you are going to kite, how you are going to move, minding your distance, knowing when to get in and get out, utilizing that initial first hit power they have where they hit multiple targets. Run in, bam, hit, get that out, and then come back in. It's going to take much more micromanaging, much more work, and you can't just hide in a ball. I'm sorry, you can't with this class. You have to keep on moving. Anyways, that's my 2 cents so far. Let's keep on listening.
I mean, the idea looks good, but I don't know. They need more buffs because this thing here, it just doesn't add up. You can't really play in all the situations that are given to you. You're mostly at a handicap all the time. And the bad thing is there are so many good melee heroes that work with melee cavalry. Unfortunately, they do not work with the elk riders. Like this guy. This guy is brilliant for melee cavalry. Can't use him with elk riders. Who else? We have Danfell. Can't use him with elk riders. You got Mogro. Can't use him with elk riders as well. As you guys can see, it is kind of like a waste of time. Up next, we check out the Forest Eagles. Can you really use these guys on the field? Now, the Forest Eagles are the flying cavalry. They are very fast. They can do some simple stuff for your account. But when it comes to fighting, they are not there, guys. What? For example, we don't have enough flying cavalry heroes in the game. So if you try to like go into enemy territory and try to hunt people, it's going to be 3 of your Forest Eagles versus someone with 5 archers walking around. You absolutely stand 0 chance. It's like 3 versus 5. They are going to annihilate you. And when they bring Goresh to use the Spiritborn Torque, you won't be able to get away on time.
Wait a second. First off, I wouldn't really attack a 5-bomb most of the time anyways with cavalry, right? I mean, you can. People do it now, right? When you have 5 cavalry units going out there. But back in the day when we had 3 or 4, people still did. I remember back in Season 1, this one guy just had a single cavalry unit going around and just decimating people. Obviously, you have to play smarter, right? If you happen to see 5 and you're not ready to go, then you just choose when you're going to attack. Now, we'll go deeper into that later. I'm going to make an entire video to show you guys how to actually play with your Eagles. All right? I mean, last season, I was for most of the season, I was the top merit earner in that entire KVK I was in. Everyone knew me, and trust me, everyone hated me that wasn't on my team because I was decimating people across the map with Eagles. Now, like I said, I've practiced with them for almost 2 years now. So yes, I've gotten good at what I need to do and smart about it. But he's sitting there saying, 5 archer legions all working together. That's someone's rolling with a 5 archer legions. yeah, I would be really picky on what hit them. Now, I would choose on hitting them probably when they're doing a long march and they're just in the middle of nowhere. Yeah, I'm going to decimate them because they're probably not watching themselves walk across for 30 minutes and paying attention to their units, and I'm going to kill you, right? Now, if all of a sudden they start attacking me and they're moving, I'm not going to just stand there and eat it. I'm going to pull back, charge back in, pick my battles, pick my timing. That's how you do it, right? You don't just sit there and sit in front. Now, when it comes to the whole Goresh and Skogul thing and the freaking Spirit Bone Torque, yes, I will admit I hate that sucker, and it is the kryptonite for the Forest Eagles. But once again, you learn how to work around it. You learn how to time your attacks, and you learn how to use the environment to your advantage. The rivers, the mountains. You learn how to use them, guys. It's super important. And this is something that Hulksden, unfortunately, did not have time in his gameplay of the Springwarden faction to learn how to do. He was with the same thought process of League of Order and Wildeburg, and that's a completely different playstyle. When you're unable to take advantage of flying all over the map, you cannot use this to your advantage, and yes, you run into these problems he's talking about. So yeah, anyone that will just jump into this thinking they can play the same way, yes, you'll have the same experience he did. You have to come into this with an open mind, and that's why, yes, I will definitely be creating a play video on how to use your Springwarden Eagles to the max, to be able to get yourself multiple tens of millions of merits in the season, guys. I had almost 30 million merits this last season with freaking Eagles being, I would say, 99% of those merits. All right, guys, you can do it. You can play this faction. Let's keep on going. I'm sorry, my rant is going crazy.
So the Forest Eagles are just, I don't know, not that good. They are great for collecting runes and maybe doing some simple stuff in the game. If you look at their attack here, it does not compare to the melee cavalry. If you try to use these guys on the ground, all enemies will spot you right away. They'll be like, okay, that is a Forest Eagles on the ground. This is going to be good dinner for supper. We're gonna eat it up. So they're gonna come for you and take you out. As you can see here, I have 2.6 million Forest Eagles that I wasn't even using because I was just gonna be feeding the enemies. Right now we are fighting enemies who just bring lots and lots of cavalry. If I come out with these guys, I'm going to be feeding them. So these Forest Eagles were kind of useless. This faction kind of turned me into a spectator. So I can say I don't really like this faction, guys. Devs really need to add some new flying cavalry heroes in the game. That way you can at least utilize the Forest Eagles. Because right now you can only make 3 Forest Eagles and they are not very strong.
Sorry, I gotta jump in again. Now, on this point, he's right in the sense that we do need more flying heroes. And until Bahorn came out, it was like a year or so since the last flying hero came out. And I want to say that was, what's his name? The Bertrand, right? And we didn't have another flying hero for a long time. And yes, they are all not cavalry heroes. I mean, really, in reality, there's really only one flying cavalry hero, and that's Ferondel. And the rest are all either mages, archers, overall, when you got Bahorn and all, but a support character. But for the most part, they're not there. And I know he's saying you can only run 3. In reality, guys, you guys can run 3.5. Technically 4, but it's 3.5 legions. You can do this with Flying Eagles. Heck, I can do this with any faction. And that's something else I'm going to have to do eventually. If people are willing to donate money to me for faction changes, I will be more than happy to faction change over to League of Order and Wildeburg and show you guys how you can run multiple flying legions with those factions with actual video. But I'm not gonna spend my own money. If you guys want to see something like that, talk to me later. We can talk about how you guys can get me the gems so I can do that for you, and I'll be more than happy to make those videos and teach you guys how to run multiple Celestials or multiple Wyvern Riders. It is possible, but that's beside the point. What we're talking about here, though, is his point about there being a lack of heroes. He is correct. The game does need more. And I also agree with his point of view that it's possible the devs are really reluctant because this is such a different playstyle. Look at any other freaking game like this. There are no flying units like this. These guys are very unique to this game. That's why I like this game so much, because this is my playstyle. I love the Eagles. I'm an assassin. I am not a tank. I am not the frontline fighter. I'm not a mage. I am an assassin. And like an assassin, I pop out from the freaking shadows, gank you in the ass, and get the fuck out, right? I don't sit there and keep on getting smacked upside the face. I just don't do it, right? I don't sit there and toss little fireballs at your ass. No, you're getting the shiv. That's what's happening, because I'm a straight up assassin, all right? And I have no qualms about it, and I'm not embarrassed to say that's what I do. You can call me a rat. You can call me a coward because I run away from you after I've killed a couple of your legions. You can say whatever you want, dude. I'm still going to kill you at the end. It is how it is. Just take it. It's what's going to happen. But he's right. Let's keep on going with this. But I did want to chime in on that point because he is correct. We do need more flying heroes. It is very difficult to run multiple legions with flying cavalry. Well, any flying unit, actually.
If you try to ambush someone with 5 marches, you become fresh food for them because they are just going to take you out. Your heroes are not that good. We don't even have lots of flying pets for the eagles. It is just terrible, guys. I don't see how people have stayed in this faction for a very long time. You're mostly going to be a spectator and not a very good team player. That is all I can say.
I didn't want to jump in again so soon, but I have to, man. This guy's making all these points, but they're all based off of his subjective opinion. And granted, my opinion is just as subjective because it's my opinion. So therefore, I'm going to toss it at you guys. That's why you guys are here, right? To hear me rant about this. So, not a team player? Dude, come on. Seriously? Once again, this is a lack of understanding of how to play this faction. I could just as easily say you're not a team player if all you do is run infantry or all you do is run whatever because I don't know how it does it and I don't play that way. That's not the point. Here you are a team player. It all depends on you as the player. Me, for example, once again, my play style lends itself to a certain style within the game to help out my team. Can I be on the front line? Not necessarily. Now, I can do it in a way if I don't mind taking a crap ton of deads. Right? Or I should say Sebs. But, and what's really cool about it is, like, for example, I mean, you might have your front line of infantry, and they're blocking all the ground cavalry and ground infantry from getting to that mage ball behind you. Infantry cannot stop my flying cabs. Now, initially when they charge them, they can, but after that, they can't. So I fly right over them if I want to and get into that mage ball, which will then force the infantry to have to turn around and focus on me, or focus the mage balls that focus on me for a second, which takes their firepower off of our infantry. Takes the infantry's idea off of us, so we're able to push in deeper. So I can do the sacrifice play, and that gets you. Or, what I prefer to do is circle around your mage ball. Come from behind, which again, forces the mage ball to focus on me. For every second they're killing me and attacking me, that is one less second they're attacking our DPS, attacking our tanks in the front. Right? So, yes, you will take a lot of damage. It is what it is. And that's why I'm glad the Springwardens have that great elixir bonus, because you're definitely going to be using a lot of it, guys. But there are ways you can do it. Also, if you want to go further back in the field, attack their lines of support. As they're returning back to their base to refresh, you kill them to increase their sebs. Right? Takes them out of the fight sooner. Or you attack their legions coming to reinforce them again. Again, making it easier for your team. I will stay in the back line so much and kill so many of the other team's players that it forces people to teleport from the front lines back into their territory just to fight me. Once again, reducing the load on our frontline fighters because they're so busy trying to kill me. Like I said, last season, I was so deadly on the field that as soon as I appeared, literally everybody from their team was focusing on me, chasing me around, totally ignoring our DPS, just eating them alive from the other side because they wanted to kill me so bad because as soon as they see me on the field, their eyes turned red with rage. They would target me. I know they were putting markers over me, trying to get my eagles. And I would fly in and out over the mountains, move around rivers, and just be pelting them and killing them. And they hated me, all right? And it brought me joy. And it was great, and it helped my team out. So to say that you cannot be a team player or just a spectator, once again, is a very subjective opinion. And unfortunately, as much as I love Hulksden, he's a great guy, and I love his videos, dude. He did not play this faction long enough to be able to actually understand it, right? This takes time to develop that, and you have to completely change your gameplay from any other faction. Springwardens are super unique, and it takes a unique player to want to do it. All right, guys? It's just how it is. All right, so let's keep on going. We'll go a little deeper into this and see what's up. Yeah, let's see what he's got.
Now, the Forest Eagles are good for the army groups. If you can put army groups of Forest Eagles, it can work. But when you come across melee cavalry, you're going to be toast. So yeah, I don't really see the benefits of these factions, man. A lot of things need to change. In terms of the Forest Eagles, maybe introduce some epic heroes, epic flying cavalry heroes. That way you can have 5 flying forest eagle marches, even though they are not very, very strong, so that people can abuse the system. I mean, it's still going to help. I think devs are afraid that people will abuse the flying eagles if we have like 5 flying marches. But if you make them all epic and not very strong, I think it's going to work. So we need more flying epic heroes to fix this. But in terms of the elk riders, I don't know what the devs are gonna do, man, because you can't really use these guys. You try in a mage ball, you become #1 target and you're dead. You try to go out and hunt, you become food for those forests. I mean, you become food for melee cavalry. It is terrible. I don't know what the devs are gonna do to this. Maybe they should try and give you the option to switch the elk riders to melee. Give a toggle button that will increase their attack, turn them into melee, or you can keep them as elk riders. Give people that option. I think that is going to work. Let us continue looking at some of the terrible things about the Springwarden faction. Let's go to the infantry and see what is going on. Infantry, we have the Iron Bark Treants. What are their buffs? So these guys can like get engineering by 10% when building or destroying building in the field. So they get 10% engineering and 10% destroying. The League of Order gets like 15% building only, and then the Orc get like 15% destruction only. With this guy, you get 10% building, 10% destroying. It's kind of okay, but I think in terms of infantry and getting good value for your account, the League of Order have a 3% additional infantry defense, and then the Orc faction have, I think, 3% physical attack. So when it comes to infantry, League of Order and the Wilderbeck have a better infantry. So I don't know what the heck you're still doing here in this faction. And then we go to what else? Yep, let's look at the archers in this faction. So these guys are going to get like plus 5% physical attack. So this is okay. This is better than the League of Order. But in the League of Order, you have 2 excellent mages to use. And then when you look at the Wilderbeck faction, they have 5% damage dealt for your archers. So if you're joining this faction to play archers, why don't you just go to the Wilderbeck and get better value? So I don't really see this. And then when we go to the mages, which is the long-lived treants, these guys are going to get like this buff that gives you 20% defense for 15 seconds to one surrounding legion. But if you look at the Wilderbeck faction, they have a better mages, aka the Satyr Witches. They get 20% attack for one surrounding legion, which makes them even better than the long-lived treants. So I don't know, man, this faction just feels kind of underpowered. I don't really see them as being very, very strong.
All right, let him go for a bit because he was talking about units that I really don't play that much. And I can speak to it a little bit, but not completely. Like I'm not an infantry player, I'm not an archer, and I'm not a mage main. So the Ironbark Treants, the archers themselves, and the Longleaf Treants, he's not wrong about the fact that they're not as strong necessarily as their counterparts in the other factions. But you got to keep in mind that that's, once again, not the point of the Springwardens. You have, think of it like a spectrum. I wish you guys could see my hands. I'm moving my hands right now and all that stuff. On one side, you have Legal Order. The other side, you have Wilderberg. And in the middle, we have the Springwardens. And that's why I'll go back to what I said earlier, saying that they're kind of a jack of all trades, but a master of none. And therefore, it does require a different style of gameplay. You can't just, roll in and take hits to the face and be attacking. You can't just be part of the group and just kind of hide in the ball. You just can't really do it as well with this faction because of these things. I mean, can you do it? Yeah, you can force that square peg in a round hole. You can do it, but you're not going to be, quote unquote, as effective, right? Your numbers won't be as much. You're not basically min-maxing this and doing, this is how you're going to get the most merits. And it's like, but seriously, guys, at the end of the day, it's how you want to play the dang thing, all right? And also play the faction you like. If you like these guys, then play them. It's just, you got to take into consideration their limitations or in the fact that they're a little bit of both, right? Go back to the infantry guys, how they're not destroying as fast and they're not building as fast, but they're in the middle between the two, where the other sides are on both sides, right? League of Order is better at building, Wilderberg is better at tearing down, but they have nothing on the other side of that. And in the spectrum in the middle, you have your Springwardens. And that's how you got to look at this. You can look at it as quote-unquote weak, but what else would you want them strong at per se? I mean, I guess we can make a triangle, where it's rock, paper, scissors in a sense, but why so much? Especially since we will have a fourth faction here. And I personally think that fourth faction is going to be somewhere in the middle of the spectrum as well. So you'll have your two extremes, and you'll have Springwardens and whatever this fourth faction is kind of in the middle, because you don't want that to be the most powerful faction and everyone switches to it. You need to have a balance, and it's a very tricky thing to do. So let's go on to him and let him keep on talking about this for a bit. He's going to complain some more. Let's go.
When we go to the faction buffs, at least from here they have a match speed of plus 5%. It's okay, but not very important. And then you have elixir production speed of plus 5%. Now this one is good. If you play a lot, you should be able to get a lot of elixir in the game. So this is kind of questionable as well, but the elixir production is good.
And see, right there, case in point, the increased march speed. If you're flying around the map, or you're the even the elk riders trying to kite and move in and out and get out of there quickly and stuff like that, march speed is power. You want that march speed. You need that march speed because you want to be able to get in and out quickly, get around your opponents much more quickly. That's important. That is a huge buff, is a speed buff. And then once again, because we are squishy, because we're putting ourselves in some crazy situations, we need more elixir. So those buffs for the Springwardens completely 1,000,000,000% make sense if you look at it from the lens of a Springwarden, not from the lens of a Wilderberg or League of Order player. Sorry.
Now in the League of Order, you are going to get Legion Magic Defense of plus 3%. So this is going to help your infantry. You're going to be very strong against mages in PvP, which is going to be good for you. And then when you go to the Wilderberg faction, you got a physical attack of plus 3% and a destruction engineering of plus 10%, which makes this faction kind of like almost the best for PvP because they have 15% destruction engineering, and then you get another 10% destruction engineering from here as well, which is a lot. So yeah, I would suggest you take Wilderberg instead of the Springwarden. Now people like Springwarden because they can use their Forest Eagles, but I've tried out this faction. Your Forest Eagles are going to be fresh food. I'm not the type of player who just go into the enemy territory just to hunt them down, maybe abuse the Springblade artifact. That's not how I play. I don't know how people enjoy that style of play. But yeah, this faction is lacking in so many ways. So many things need to be fixed. Ever since I joined the Springwarden, I became a spectator, guys. I don't really like it. So these are my Legion composition right now. The bad thing is that I don't have a lot of mages. I did not train Vestals. So when I came here, I only had like 3 mage marches. My account is built for mages. I have so many good mages. There is no point of me staying in the Springwarden and playing as a mage. Like that is a waste of my time. I'd rather go back to the League of Order and get a lot of value.
And there we go. Again, he's reconfirming the exact point I'm trying to make. He has a certain style of play he likes to play. Springwardens will not support it. At least not to the level he wants to be at. So yes, he is correct. He should go back to League of Order. He said it himself. He's a mage player. If you're a mage player, League of Order is what you want. If you're a cavalry main, I would suggest going to Wilderberg because they have that extra melee attack bonus, right? So that's what I'm trying to say. This is the case in point. He has a very specific way he wants to play. Springwardens doesn't work for him. And there's nothing wrong with that. I'm not saying that he is incorrect in his taste of play. I'm just saying he's incorrect in his assessment of what Springwardens are by saying they are weak when they're not. They're just different. And that's what's important, guys. Keep that in mind.
Like, what are you doing here playing with mages and archers? Don't you know the Wildebeck and the League of Order have better unit types? Like in the long run, you will be getting a lot of kill points and a lot of good stuff in the League of Order and the Wildebeck faction. With this faction, man, it was terrible. 2.8 million elk riders, 2.2 million archers, and then 2.7 million forest eagles. So I had 5 million unit types that I don't really use. Elk riders 2.7, forest eagles 2.8, about 5.5 million units that I don't use. Every time I come out, I become fresh food. This is the reason I'm gonna be going back to the League of Order as fast as possible. In the next season, we will be getting a brand new mage pair, so I think that's going to be super awesome. As for today, I am going to be switching, guys. I joined this faction to show you guys some elk rider gameplays, like it is applicable to the PvP against those infantry in mage balls. But the problem is, if the infantry is dead, you become a spectator, and killing infantry only is going to give you a lot of severely wounded in terms of counter attack. The boost from the elk riders can help, but it is not that great. So this faction is underpowered. Devs really need to do something to improve this faction. Lots of stuff needs to change here. As of right now, I'm getting the heck out of here, man. I'm getting the heck out of here. Maybe in the future, if I'm gonna return, I'll make sure I have 3 million pistols. That way I can maybe try and see if I can make something out of this faction. This faction might be good for the Roots of War, but in Roots of War there's going to be a lot of melee cavalry. They're going to tear you to pieces. So I don't really see anything good about this faction. One of the worst in the game. I hope the devs can introduce a new faction or try to fix this one, something that we already have. Matter of fact, I feel like they should just fix this faction, add some new stuff into this faction. That way people can enjoy. I think that's going to be fun. Enough with the ranting, guys. I know some of the OGs of these factions are like, you don't know what you're talking about. Yep, if you really like it, then that's for you, man. For me, this is not it. I'm not a spectator. I want to be a team player. I don't want to be sitting there and just watching the action. This is crap. BS. We're getting the heck out of here, guys. We're going to be switching. So I'm going to click use. My faction switch items. We are going back to the League of Order, guys. It's happening. We're doing it live. We go change faction. We hit confirm. Oops, too bad I have troops training.
Watcher of Realms, second anniversary event, coming in hot. Brand new tactician role, shifting back.
Let me see, how much time do I have on it? So about 12 hours. You know what? I'm gonna let this timer run down and then switch down. And then switch in my own time. I want to thank you guys for watching the video. If you're new here, subscribe for more content. I know you guys wanted to see some more Elk Rider gameplays, but I've become more of a spectator than a fighter. So I don't really see this happening. If you look at my troop composition, it doesn't make sense. Forest Eagles, I only have 3 good marches. They are not it. They don't add up. You know what? Let me just pull them out and you can see what they kind of look like, to let you understand what I mean. So when I hit deploy, multi-create, I go to the 10th preset. These are the 3 Forest Eagle marches that I have. Just take a look at these guys. We have Atheas and Freyga. Like, what is this? What is this march here? This is nothing. If you try to ambush someone, you become fresh food. And if you try to use them as ground cavalry, people are gonna see you from far away and just tear you to pieces.
What the heck kind of builds were those? Sorry, but heck no. Once again, guys, I am definitely going to be dropping a video showing you guys how to dominate with your flying eagles. Those marches, what? All right, no, I'm sorry, Hulksden. You need to talk to me, bro, and I will help you to build and show you what's up, dude. All right, those marches, no. Yes, of course you're gonna get decimated with that. Don't do what he did, guys. I'll show you what's up. Wait for my video coming out soon enough on this. I can't hold it back any longer. It needs to happen. The Springwardens need to be represented. by someone that actually plays the faction. Anyways, he's almost done. Let's get this thing finished.
And with the Elk Riders, they are decent, but you can't really use them a lot. You try to go in a mage murder ball, you'll be a spectator just waiting for the perfect opportunity. If that is how you want to play the game, then by all means, you can do it. If you try to walk around on the field, try to hunt people, you will become the hunted. So yeah, this faction needs some improvement. Thank you guys for watching. I will be switching later when my training timer goes down. And I think that's it for the video, guys. Let me know what you think of this faction. If you think I am mistaken, let me know down below. Thank you for watching. See you guys in the next one. Bye bye for now.
And that was pretty much it, guys. Very long video because I'm reacting to a video that was already 20 minutes. And of course, I add my time in. It was a lot. If you guys want to watch the original Hulksden video, go ahead. You don't want my extra commentary, it's fine. But if you're logging into this thing here because you want to hear what I had to say about what he had to say, yeah, that made sense. Anyways, my general opinion of Hulksden's video is that he just isn't equipped for this particular faction. He has a very set mindset in how to play the game, his style, which I am not saying is incorrect. How he wants to play the game is totally fine. Just like any way you want to play the game is totally fine, right? It's not the faction's fault. This is like the epitome, right, of don't hate the player, hate the game, right? And all that stuff. It's the players here that are learning how to do what they need to do. You can sit there and complain about, oh, this faction is not as strong or this hero is not as good. And in some ways, you might be correct. But in other ways, you're not. It's all about being creative. We have a ton of heroes, so you can have different marches in different combinations. Look at the war pets. There were a lot of war pets that people laughed at and didn't like, and now they're saying, oh, this actually works with this brand new hero. Or we can have some unique gameplay with this one over here. I mean, sand lizards, when they first came out, everyone was like, whatever, sand lizards. Now you can put them with your archers or your mages in those murder balls and live forever. Hell, dude, it's freaking awesome, right? It's all about being creative with what they give you, rather than just crapping on it because it doesn't match your game style. So when it comes to Springwardens, it takes a unique kind of player to play this unique faction. And it also comes down to my general opinion of these kinds of games, these war games, right? And all that. I've tried a few, and I keep looking to see what's out there, to see what else might be interesting to play. And Rock, this Age of Empires, all of them, they all suck in my opinion, right? Simply for the fact that there is no flying gameplay. There are no flying heroes. Heck, some of them don't even have real ranged combat, right? You have ranged units, but they're right up in there in the melee range anyways, and they're just duking it out. It's just basically a number generator. You don't have any, you can't move around and position yourself in a way that makes sense to take advantage of the fact that you're ranged. Or in this case, that you are a flying hero. You're a flying legion. Use that to your advantage. Learn how to play that kind of game style. If it's not yours, that's fine. Stick with what you got. I support it 1000%. Especially for you mage mains and archer mages, because you guys keep me in business, because you guys are my food. And for you guys that make the mistake of flying celestials around the map when I'm out there, then you're definitely getting eaten alive. All right, don't fly out there with your wyvern riders or your celestials if you see me on the map, because you'll feel it. You will feel it, because I will come up there, and like I said, I'm that guy that's gonna put that shank in your back. You'll never see it coming. All right, and you'll hate me. But that's the gameplay. That's the video from Hulksden. I told him I was going to be doing this, and he told me to go. He gave me the green light to rip into his video. I hope that he watches this and he comments below. That'd be awesome. Hulksden, if you comment below, I'll be super stoked, because like I said, I am not hating on you. I just disagree with you. And it's okay for us to have disagreements, because that's what makes this game awesome, because there are so many different ways of playing it. And as long as we all keep doing that, we can attract more players into this thing, so it's not the same. It's not a copy and paste of any other fight. This game is so unique, has so much fun things we can do. And if we can really highlight that to lots more players, we bring more people in. And that's what I'm all about. Not sitting there and trying to dissuade people from playing the game. Anyways, guys, I'm not saying you're doing that, Hulksden. I'm just saying that in general. So anyways, guys, thank you so much for chiming in. Thank you for watching this video. It was super long. Hopefully you do what I typically do with these kind of talking head videos, where I just kind of have in the background and listen to it while I'm doing chores around the house or driving in my car. And if you actually were watching the screen this whole time, well, I'm sorry it wasn't more interesting. But that is the end of the video. So let's go ahead and move on and get back in that game, get back to playing. I'm your boy Darshigong, and until I see you guys again, I hope to catch all of you gaming on the dark side.
Just tell me what you want, what you need, what you see, what you wanna be. Tell me everything, think it into being. That's how dreams become the real thing. I'm out of the thinking, about it to sink in, yeah. I've been coast to coast around this whole globe. I've seen a lot of hope, yeah. I've seen a lot of nope, I've seen a lot of growth, but we can make it more. Yeah, I'll tell you what I want in the middle of the club. I'm dancing up on my chick, I'm showing a little love. I'm listening to this track, got the speakers above, and feel like everything is coming all together at once. I want a good life, good nights, good friends, alright. Make a couple dollars from something I love to do right. Live my young life, grow old with some memories. Living each day with a good vibe energy. Tell me what you want, just take a thought and make it happen. The only way to live up in this life is with some passion. Don't let this life just toss you by, get up and take some action. Just tell me what you want, go take a thought and make it happen. I don't need cash or cars, I need black guitars, I need plaques for art, yeah. I need shooting stars and a few more scars, maybe a few cigars, yeah. I wanna hit all the charts across all the parts, and that's just the start, yeah. I wanna change people's lives for a single night.